Okay, girls, so let's do some examples. So it says, Bob wants to decrease. Okay, wonderful. Immediately, decrease. So I know that it's going to be less than what? Than the whole, okay? It's going to be less than the whole. Wants to decrease 110 by 60%. So we're going to think about this. So if I have my whole, I know that my whole pie, my whole pizza is my whole, and it's going to be decreased. So in this case, this what is 100%. What is my 100% here, girls? Is 110. Okay, so that's my whole pizza, and it's going to be decreased by 60%. So if I have my, let's say that it's going to be a little bit more than that. Okay, good. So this bit here is going to be taken away. So erase, I'm going to erase. Just give me 1 second. Oh, sorry. Maybe too little this thing. So this bit here that I just erased there is what is going to be taken away. So I'm going to draw it with a little bit darker so we can see it. That's the 60%. This bit is going to be eaten by someone. Someone is going to take that 60% off. Okay, so what is going to be left? That's the question. If someone eats 60% of my pie, of my pizza, what is left? So 40% is going to be left. Okay, so that's what I'm going to find. What is the 40% of 110? We did this in one of our first videos. So we do 40%. How do we write it as a fraction? 40 out of 100. Okay, of 110, which means that I'm going to times it by 110. We can write this one as a fraction as well. And when we do this, we have 40 times 110 over 100. So what I can see here that I can do is I can cancel this 0 and this 0 and this 0 and this 0. And then I get 4 times 11, which is equal to 44. I didn't need my calculator to do this one. I was able to do it by hand. So 44. So Bob wants to decrease 120 by 60%, which means that the new amount that Bob is going to have is 44. Okay, let's do another one down here. So okay, so it says, what percentage do we need to multiply 220 by to get to 187? Okay, so first, are we talking about an increase or a decrease here? So because it's talking about going from 220 to 187, immediately I know that it's going to be a decrease. So we're going to think about it, okay? So in this case, what happens? I have my pie. That is my 100%. And what is my 100% is 220. Agree? And now it's going to be 187. So in this case, because I don't have any other percentage, then we have to think what is our best strategy to use. What is going to be our simplest strategy to use in this case? So in this case, I'm going to use the double number line that we also have been using. So what happens? I know that my 100 is 220. So I'm going to do it here. I have 100 and I know that that's 220. And now 187, I don't know where it is, exactly what percentage is going to be, but it's here. And what I want to find is what percentage is this one. Agree? So how can I do this? I'm going to use the same method that we used before. So I'm going to go down to 1. So how do I go down to 1 from 220? I'm going to divide by 220. And then I'm going to multiply by 187. So I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. I'm not going to draw the arrows because I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do 100. I'm going to start with 100, or maybe I should. 100, and I'm going to first divide by 220, and then multiply by 187. So let's do, so I'm going to take my calculator. I'm going to say, okay, 100 divided by 220 multiplied by 187. And I get that this value that I have here is 85%. That's what I got. I'm going to erase this because so this value here is 85%. That's what I got when I did this operation. Wonderful. So now the question is, what percentage do we need to multiply 220 to get to 187? So the answer is 85%. And let's prove to see if that's true. If that's true, if I do 220, what is the 85% of 220? So it's 220 times 85 over 100. Agree? So if I do that, I write it as 220 times 85 over 100. And then I take this one out, and then I do 22 times 85. 22 times 85 divided by 10. And I get that that's equal to 187. And guess what? That's what we have here. So we have done it correctly. Wonderful. I'm going to continue in the next video.